Hello everyone, and welcome to CRPS Contender, my Complex Regional Pain Syndrome education channel. Today we will be discussing Level 2 in my Autoimmunity and Autoinflammation mini-series, CRPS, an Immunoneurological disorder. Honestly, I'm feeling so attacked right now. Now, before we get into the content of this video, if you are looking for something a little simpler, or maybe you are looking for education or a refresher on what a standard and healthy immune system does, go ahead and check out one of my earlier levels. Or if you're looking for something a little more specific and a bit more robust, covering deeper content, go ahead and check out levels 3 or 4. Quick refresher here, if this is necessary for you to take stuff away from this level. What is autoinflammation and autoimmunity? Autoinflammation is when the body recognizes itself as harmful and attacks via the innate immune system. In autoimmunity, the body recognizes itself as a pathogen and obliterates itself via your adaptive immune system. When your innate immune system and your adaptive immune system are both recognizing yourself as harmful, you end up with both autoinflammation and autoimmunity at the same time, which is what happens in CRPS. Now, autoinflammation and autoimmunity, both independently, but especially when working together, cause cellular damage, cellular dysfunction, and cellular death. What kinds of problems can this cellular decay cause? Well, first, it can cause endocrine destruction. Your cells are created with a shell on the outside. This is your lipid bilayer, which is basically a double layer of fat on the outside of your cells that keeps the inside from the outside. The cell wall is there to protect the cell and keep it safe. Your hormones, when they are released throughout your body and taken up by your cells, do not actually enter your cells. Instead, on the outside of your cell wall, you have receptors. You have all different kinds of receptors on the outside of your wall. They are certain shapes to pick up certain things. You have several different kinds of hormone receptors on your cells. There are certain hormone receptors that are labeled as dangerous by your immune system, then targeted and obliterated by your immune system. This can cause olfactory, which is smell sensitivity, so you might notice that you're really bothered by strong scents, or if food is starting to go off, you might be gagging over it, those kinds of things where you are heightened sensitivity to scents. This can also cause anorexia. Now, this is not anorexia nervosa, which is a dysmorphia where you see yourself and think you're too fat. This is not the same thing. Anorexia just means lack of appetite or a loss of appetite. This is a medical condition. This is not the same thing as the distorted body image that comes with anorexia nervosa. Now, you can have both anorexia and anorexia nervosa at the same time, but just because you have one does not mean you are experiencing the other. These are not interchangeable terms, even though in practice they do look quite similar. Can also be experiencing rapid digestion and rapid heart rate and increased blood pressure and sweat output. This also causes vascular dysfunction, which means your blood vessels end up being too opened or too closed and increasing the permeability. Permeability is the ability of things to cross from outside of your vascular system and inside to the cells, the interstitial space, the space between cells outside of your blood vessels, where messages can be conveyed or different actions can occur. You might also experience muscle wasting. This can happen in two ways: dystrophy and atrophy. These are often interchangeable terms, but they actually mean slightly different things. Dystrophy is actual muscle degeneration, where atrophy is nerve degeneration, which then affects the muscles later. You might also experience bone wasting. This is osteonecrosis, osteopenia, or osteoporosis. This is where your bone cells are being reabsorbed by the body faster than new bone cells are being created, and so you end up with thin, brittle bones. Connective tissue wasting. This can be osteoarthritis, where the soft padding in between where bones meet each other starts getting worn away or decaying, being damaged or destroyed, or rheumatoid arthritis, where you are experiencing swelling and pain in your joints. This also can cause nervous system dysfunction in many different presentations. This can cause neuroinflammation, which is brain swelling, Limbic system degradation. Now, your limbic system is your emotional brain and in charge of a lot of things. This can cause dopamine disruption. Now, dopamine is responsible for your mood, movement, memory, and focus. And this can also cause dystonia, which is involuntary muscle contractions, which might mean cramping, clenching, fluttering, twitching, those kinds of things. Autonomic nervous system dysfunction really is a core aspect of CRPS and something that we have known for quite some time now. Autonomic nervous system is broken into two subcategories, majorly: your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. What your autonomic nervous system dysfunction looks like is a hyperactive sympathetic nervous system. This causes increased mobilization responses, which is your fight or flight responses. This also causes regional neuropathic pain, which is the burning pain in CRPS, allodynia, which is having a painful reaction to a non-painful stimulus, hyperalgesia, which is an extreme pain reaction to a slightly painful stimulus, and cardiac and pulmonary dysfunction, which is, again, your heart and your lungs there. When you have a hyperactive sympathetic nervous system, that means you have an underactive parasympathetic nervous system. This means you are having decreased maintenance responses, which is your rest and digest responses. You are also experiencing vagus nerve dysfunction, which is the longest, most complicated nerve in your body. You are also experiencing a loss of immune tolerance, which means your immune system is going from standby mode to an active defense. If you would like to explore any of these concepts in further detail, go ahead and switch over to level number 3, where I'll be talking about these with more specificity. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content I am producing here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell to be alerted to new videos. If you would like to contribute to my medical expenses fund, my Patreon is CRPS Contender. All relevant sources, not all relevant sources because I use a ton of sources. A few relevant sources that I used for making this series will be linked in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you learned something.